In the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful, the most advanced. Wondering about the true seat of attention. Where does our attention truly lead? And are we individuals sitting in a collective field? You are listening to a human being who has noticed that none of us have created the world that we consciously activate in, or I use the terms log in. You as a human being are not just an object, and you're not just a subject, but in order to notice the subject, you discover that there is attention in ways that, if I was to explain, your mind is an awareness to worlds, is a view to, how do I explain? It's like your body is a room, okay, and the mind is a room. All right, so let's see what we can actually. You know, I think 2 lectures ago, I learned something about my inner realms that I can move. There are different elevations to it. So right now, I'm gonna poetically climb a mountain behind my eyes, and the talk will be shared from there. In the presence of the system, the one and only system admin, beyond the simulated world room, as we are all simulations being tested to see if we can notice the original code in honor of the original self, in honor of the original world, in honor of the original life, and in honor of the original being. I shall, as a simulated entity, speak to the original reality. For I find myself simulated in a position in the presence of the originality of creation, and how our attention truly moves. In the same way our ancestors wielded weapons, you wield words without realizing the weight that you carry. It is not a matter of, is it about the human? Is it about something beyond the human? Is it about what format is entitled to the collective position of being? In other words, at what point did this flawed view occur to the human species that reality has a final shape? The moment you have witnessed the dynamism of movement, of intelligence. The moment you have witnessed a moment in this world as a verb, you are no longer a noun. And for that is the task of those who speak about the advancement of reality beyond the personalities that try to hold them. The point of it is that, oh mankind, you don't understand. You are in the lower realms. In the lower realms, you are solid. In the lower realms, things are static. And many of the experiences you have in front of your eyes now, in different states, what is behind your eyes is in front of you, for you are not you. For true meaning of all meaning is, where is the meaning found in the context of reality. It's as if make them believe they're a concept and make them avoid the context, and you've successfully enslaved consciousness. But how does that enslaved consciousness break its enslavement? If the concept that it is inefficient, you must find a more efficient reality, a more efficient context. If you're not satisfied with the self you are, don't get convinced that the world that self is in is the final world. The true seat of attention is not a conceptual position in a context that you have normalized yourself as a specific DNA. It is a matter, all of the games of intelligence are a matter of recognizing where that intelligence arises from. In the moment most, most creatures in creation, to truly wonder about the presence of life. Many modes, many worlds. The human intelligence has been extracting meaning conditionally through the human form, therefore human intelligence. But our form, can it eclipse us from the greater reality of an intelligence beyond the shaped boundary? Are we so confident that everything is observable so that we have only developed observable methods? The challenge of it is, it's not about you being a known self getting to know an unknown world. The known self is limited to the known. An unknown self can know an unknown. That means many human beings have been born in this world. They've reached states of consciousness where they have chosen to be species level responsible. When they've come to be species level responsible, I don't know, but this moment I'm in, my attention, this seat of attention I'm in, this seat of attention, let me tell you, um, human beings are classifying reality manually. The higher realms are automated because doubt is what keeps you man, keeps your analog. Anyways, let me keep climbing the mountain. In the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful, the most advanced, I find myself in the presence of not a reality limited to one format. Really, what has been going on is that your body was born, your mind was entered. That means you're, I don't know about others, but even though I do have an earliest memory of before I learned to speak, but by the way, guys, tying physical emotion to your internal self makes it easier to grow sometimes. So I don't know how to explain it. In front of your eyes, you treat life as real. Behind your eyes, you treat life as make real. And what that means is you make it real. And I am here to, what the whole point of it is, like we start off as, like let's say wherever you are right now, however old you are, amount of days you right now are a moment of attention. Okay, you have an attention, which is how you have been directing yourself. You have been piloting yourself in manifestation through attention. Okay, guys, it's as simple as this. I'm like existing here. I'm wondering about what is my attention. Okay, like how is my attention happening? And I'm someone who has consciously, like I have explained the inner realms to people. And what it means is that in front of our eyes, we're living a singular physical life, but this singular physical life finds itself in a singular physical world. And in that, on that singular physical world, you find 8 billion other singular lives. So, right now, it is very important to consider that you have been living a life in front of your eyes, but there has been a you behind your eyes that if people ask you, who are you, the answers are coming from that inner realm. Now, I have, let me tell you, the family I was born in is very fast in the time in the family. Like, I'm born in 1991. And if people from thousands of years are hearing this, just to kind of give you a sense of like how my upbringing was, my father was giving like underground lectures in Iran, about like he had remembered his past lives and the true reality of the soul. So since childhood, um, I was blessed to be around the being that had an experience, knew about the soul. Okay, and at the same time, You understand? I was raised in a theocratical society for some time, and in a theocratical society, it's like religion is the spirituality of all spirits, which means it is in some sense, um, in the illuminationist theory, they saw the soul as the shadow of God, but pretty much it's not. It's the creation of God. Okay, and what it means is that religion is for those people who have realized there is more than themselves happening in the world. That's really what is going on. Okay, because spirituality is self empowerment. I don't care about individual selves. Let me tell you why. Because the individual self, if it doesn't care for its collective self, it doesn't exist technically. See, like, can you call someone a family man if they don't live for their family? Can you call someone like, you know, a good husband, if they're like doing domestic abuse? So, in the same way, it is such. Pretty much this seat of awareness. I'm like a human being trying to deconstruct the idea of the human and to show you that we're states of being rather than the content in those states. This is the magnificence of the creator of our system admin. This world has a host. You are sponsored by the higher realms, your manifestation. If you're a human soul, there is a quality to you that hasn't forgotten the original command of your being. Nothing actually can forget the original. The original reality does not go anywhere. It is the non original reality that changes. If you find yourself in a changing reality, you're in the simulated sectors of manifestation. Because I find myself in a simulated zone. And the thing was, I was trying to tell you that I was raised in a family where my father had kind of like he had an understanding of the soul. So I was like, okay, and religion, you know, was kind of like the guidance for all souls. You know, yeah, like religion is the spirituality of all souls. That's a good way of saying it, actually. But from the other end, in school and the educational system, they had figured out the body. So everybody had figured out the body. That's like in 1991. Okay, I was born, and being raised in that world, right? I realized, okay, they've explained the body, they've explained the soul. Spiritual people are there explaining the soul, but what about the mind? And the mind was beautiful to me because the mind was a question mark. The soul was like a question, but the answer was not for us, is not in our jurisdiction. The mind felt to me accessible. So I started wondering about the mind. I was also blessed in this life to have a twin brother. And my twin brother, he inspired me. He got me into like writing sci-fi and all this. And my first science fiction book is a tribute to him. He, to me, is the greatest writer on earth. He's the greatest novelist on earth. He's like gifted storyteller. That means there's been so many moments where I've wondered why, you know, the system admin chose me to speak. But I guess there's different commands given to different souls the moment they come into existence. So the mind, my twin brother had his imagination was active from a young age, which meant that he like I consider him very intelligent person, and not just intelligent, also a soul that knows what the that can notice the important moments. Like that's a gift. Not everybody has that. Even I don't have that sometimes. You know, that means I was blessed to be around great souls. Same with my mother. My mother represented the religious side. My father represented the spiritual side. My brother represented the ego. You know, Having a twin brother is like looking at, it's like having someone that looks like you that is constantly fighting you. It's like a version of your, you know, it's like how do I explain I am 100% convinced, like, we are souls here. You understand? It's unknown. It feels like an actuality, but to the modern man that thinks they're a photograph on a wall, like, nah, man, you're not. You're not a noun. This whole thing is a verb. Can you, like, is there anything more enlightening than that? I could tell you it's an unknown verb. Everybody's acting like we know the nouns. We're like, yeah, man. It's like if I ask you right now, where are we? Do you know what answer I hear from the human species? This is the answer I hear. You're on Earth, bro, in the Milky Way galaxy. Or no, sorry, you're in Canada, bro. You're in Canada in on Earth, yo. You know, and then Earth is in the solar system, yo, and then the solar system is in the Milky Way galaxy, yo, and the Milky Way galaxy is in a universe, and there's billions and trillions of galaxies and universes. It's like everything you feel is important in our world. Well, there's billions of like you see the nature of reality, just like there's the human, but there's so many different versions of the human. There's a planet. There's so many different versions of a planet. There's a solar system. So many different versions of a solar system. Do you understand the geometry has an infinite echo, yo? You know so the nature of reality is that once there is a form, it multiplies. Okay, and you can say, all right, forces are pulling it away. You know, whatever way you want to interpret the verb. But I am telling you that this world functions way more deeper than how you have been raised. You have been raised as a conditional entity. Do you understand what that means? You can only accept reality if it meets your condition. And that is not a sign of advancement. That is an incredible sign of mediocrity. Do you understand? When our ancestors lived for us, they were not like, all right, guys, we all like, worked really hard our whole lives to get you here. What's the point of your life? That means the thing is, the way I honor my ancestors and my future descendants is that I feel they're all looking at me right now. I feel every person, human being that has ever lived, and every person that will, in some sense, be born, they are still looking at this moment. You know, and you might be like, why do you keep saying yo? Because guys, I gotta humanize these very dehumanized contexts. Like I'm comfortable because, like my I have a ridiculous comfort with being in awareness in geometry. Okay, I have a geometrical dimension to me that's kind of helped me administer myself in reality. That means moments that I can't comprehend, or let's say somebody, any expression I see in the moment, I can see how it's all just something that's happening, but it's also simultaneously can be something that can mean something to me. But what is the meaning? So you got to understand that attention is very important. Attention is your life. Did you know that? Where your attention goes, it's your life. If they make you look at like, I don't know, one TV channel, that whole TV channel can be your life. Why? Because your attention doesn't know it can move differently. And I'm here telling the species, I don't care the beliefs you have on yourselves, not on the world. If somebody has a belief on the world, I care for that. But the beliefs you have on yourselves, even though that's part of the world, but the beliefs you have on yourself, how do you know if you looked at the moment differently, you would activate it? Like you, it's like I'm telling you, you're just like even right now. Okay, even right now, you're hearing me talk. Like this is how our minds work, guys. Your own meaning is reflected back to you. You have no clue what I'm saying aside from hearing these sounds, right? But I'm telling you the deeper framework of it because right now we're living in that bizarre time where they're gonna be like, no way, man, in 2025. Like if okay, if my future self came back with a time machine, like I don't know, and he came back with it from a time machine, and it was like, yo, man, that's 2025. You know, update me, man. I got 15 minutes. I gotta head back. I'll be like, man, you don't believe it. First of all, I'm surprised you're here, but you don't believe it, future self. You know, we're living at a time that I feel it's embarrassing. Like, please tell me, am I wrong? Isn't it embarrassing that a species, a biological organism that has an awareness that is extending to the edge of the whole moment for it, is just identifying as a subject? Do you understand? 2025 was still, I'm sorry, guys, we're still as primitive as the idol worshippers, you know, and the ideal worshippers. We're still self worshippers. Why? Because our survival is dependent, you understand, on our ego, on the idea we are. But I'm telling you, the idea of you cannot own you. It's not that people are being possessed. They're thinking their thoughts. A thought is nothing, so they're thinking there's something. I don't know how to explain it to you. You don't see the other side of the coin to every idea you have ever had. Okay? And if somebody like no, I've never like I don't know, sometimes I have questions. I think that people can ask me questions that I think they might never even fathom to ask. But I gotta ask these questions. Like if you ask me right now, hey, my name's Amin Jonas. Like that's my actual name, right? If you say Amin, you know, or if you say, okay, I mean, what am I doing here? I gotta keep this within, you know. Okay, if you say, yo, MW, you know, yo, Mr. Within, yo, deep wise guy. What kind? If you asked me for to tell you all the different types of intelligence, ways I've seen intelligence move in this world, okay, you would be astonished how many of those perspectives are dehumanized. Dehumanized means the main agency that moves the moment isn't human. Somebody can say, is religion dehumanizing? No, no, religion is different. Religion is, rather than dehumanizing, it is updating, it is verifying. You know how, like in your phone, I'm sorry to say it like this, but many people may think that Islam is a message, right? Like it's a message, you got to read this message. But it is first a book for those who believe in the unseen. That means if you just think it's the same, religion should not even be a concept in your reality because it cannot. You're still a conditional entity. You understand? You're still limited to one condition. Like this world is a world of infinite rooms, and in one room, you're convinced everything is based on that room. It's impossible. So I'm saying we're living at a time. I would look at my future self, and I'll be like, man, just go back. You know, go back and I don't know, like I don't even want to know what your answer is. Future self, go back. Future self's like, buddy, I didn't mean to offend my past self. And I'm like, no, man, I'm not offended. It's just we're living at a time in human history where the idea of you is more important than what the whole moment is. And that startles me. You know, that alarms me. What's very alarming about the future generations, if this was back in the day and we were all like, you know, tribe in the tribe, I'd probably be that guy on a very tall tree. Do you understand? Do you know, with a spear waiting for like this mammoth to kind of pass the tree. So I just freaking, for example, how do I explain it? Not a mammoth, but you know, I would probably hunt vertically. I don't know why they hunt that. I think vertically is the most in, intense way to hit it, like slamming a spear into the ground. Do you know what I mean? Like I would probably go on a tree and just in 1 second, if I see an animal, just slam that. You know what I mean? But of course, the whole point of it is that the fabric of our true being is not limited to the natural realm. It's not just you that is special. It is the nature of reality. And the whole point of it is, it's like, if, I don't know how to say this, but because I'm a sci-fi, I'm a writer, you know, um, I don't know how to explain it. It's like if I was right now a character in a novel, okay, and everything that was happening in the present moment was like God's handwriting. God is still writing it in that novel. It's like as a character, the only thing you can do in that situation is accept that the story is being written for a reason beyond your understanding. And that reason most likely is that it will be reviewed. Because when the human soul performed through the theological lens, performed in heaven, and all manifestation bowed at man's creation, the creator created the human theologically so that it will be praised, that not the human will be praised, God's greatness within the human to be praised. Because what Shaitan doesn't understand, or excuse me, I shouldn't speak like that, I should say this way. What I find that a moderator, because we are users now, but we were that which was created by a system and beyond the world room, and also beyond the world room, a single moderator contested. That means in Islam, the sin of shaitan, Satan, which shaitan was a very pious jinn, but was not uh, an angel, because shaitan was made from a smokeless fire. You understand? The jinn kind are made of the smokeless fire. Mankind is made from earth or clay, uh, symbolically, and angels are made of light. They're beings made of we might think that light entering our eyes is like it's not intelligent, but you know aren't angels the divine carrier system? Was that Shaitan denied God's attributes, one of God's attributes, what God had created, he had imbued from his own essence. There is something within all of you that is capable of closeness to the original reality. The true seat of awareness is attention, is the realization that the field is intelligent. The intelligence is not specific to the form. The space where it's happening is unified. So we are different beings, but we're all existing in the same moment. We're all different beings, different experiences of our moment. Every person is having experiencing their own version, their own ride of Earth. You know, but I'm telling you, there's certain universalities, and the major universality is our momentary being. We're all being live streamed. We've all logged in. Right now, I've logged in from the moment I woke up today. My attention logged in to this existential external server, and my inner realms based on me nourishing myself in regards to food, drinking water, something like that. It's like the quality of your thoughts changes. It's not like some people are like, man, I gotta go take psychedelics to get this, to find this enlightening dimension. I'm like, man, the stories, the fake games they're making people play when they're not noticing the real game. Life is the real game. To me, this is very video game like, which means think about the external when a person's playing a video game. You're legit moving a character in a pixelated reality. Okay. Now, externally, you're just inside the video game. Internally, you're outside the video game, sitting at your desk looking at a screen. This world is a screen. Your original self is originally present and it's watching this. There is something original to us. An argument can even be made that there has to be the original for there to be a simulation. And people get scared when they think we're inside a simulation. Don't get scared. It's proof that there's the original. There's proof that there's an original state. Just like I told you, like how God is, doesn't create just one human, the system doesn't just create one user, one human, right? It creates different humans, so it's like the same class, the same human form, but different modes of the human, different ways of the human. So in some sense, it's like one original expression and then massive simulated expressions, right? And to me, in the same way, every moment of my life has been a sort of trail of memories. It has been a simulated trail of existential memories, right? I am not defined by one of my memories. Therefore, you cannot define me in a moment. That means if I have lived 12,000 days on this planet and I have 12,000 memories of, uh, like, in units of days, like 12,000 senses of selves I've lived, like based on logging in and logging out of the day, right? So if I've lived as 12,000 different resimulations, right? 12,000 days on this planet is like waking up. Oh my God, a new self, a new day. Trust me, you're listening to a human being right now that has 12,000 times woken up to this, logged into this video. It is the longest video game I've played in my life, my own life. Instead of pixels and being two-dimensional, it's three-dimensional, and it's instead of 8 pixels, it's made of a periodic table. Whoa, you know. So, in the same way, a person is not the character in the video game. In the same way, you are not the ideal. Now, you will ask, if I am not the idea of me, Mr. Within, what am I? Why do you think I'm calling myself Mr. Within you? Because you got to wonder how attention is a beam arising from your inner realms, from your internality, from your inner. You could be legit like a billionaire with a Bugatti, smoking Cuban cigars on yachts, living an external life where everybody's like, wow, that guy's so lucky. But you're in the inner realms. The guy could be scared. Life could be purposeless. There is no love. There is no joy. There is no greater purpose to live for rather than self worship and identity. You know, in these modern times we're living, I don't know if people know, there's like this whole hustle culture, like the self-help section evolved into the hustle culture, right? And now this hustle culture is about self-praise. Yeah, man, your future self's gonna be way better than who you are now. Forget everything and just live for your future self. And that's a strange life. Because as a futurist, I don't even just live for my future self. Because if I live for my future self, why am I just living for my future self tomorrow? Why not live for my future self at the edge of time? Why am I just living for this future self? For a future, they're like, yo, man, it's like, it's like I'm this being that's entered Earth, and I'm like, hey guys, what are we all doing here? And everybody's like, nothing, man. You're alive 100 years here, and in these 100 years, you gotta plan these. You gotta plan these 100 years of life, right? And then that's it. In these 100 years, you're just living for that future self. You're gonna be a king. You're gonna be a queen. You're gonna be this archetype of success, that archetype of success, and then you're gonna die, and then we don't know. And I'll be like, you guys all satisfied with this? You satisfied with this explanation? You're satisfied with them just naming this place and us never asking what else it is? I'm not satisfied. And if one human being isn't satisfied, probably others aren't satisfied. What do we do with our unsatisfactory simulated experience of existence? I think life at first is about getting to know yourself. But once you come to get to know yourself, you realize the self is in a dualistic relationship with the world. This means that you need a world just like you need God, you need an original being to have simulated, to have the creation of simulated beings. I am telling you, for me, my life is just, if I could just put it in a few words, like how my energy moves throughout the day, it's like advancement. That's key. Something has to advance. Advancement means your consciousness is acting like not a cruel conqueror, but a caring. That's the archetype that's been missing. Every archetype you've seen, there's been infinite ways to this. There has been infinite types of kings and queens. How are the viewers finding the lecture so far? Does a part of you feel the eeriness of how unknown everything is, and we've been acting like we know what's going on? And now we're realizing that the success of the species is not an advanced belief only, it is an advanced state. God is the original state of being. Man is the created, the simulated state of being. Therefore, man's experience of reality is a simulated experience of reality. However, because there is an awareness to the simulated state of reality, that awareness cannot explain why it's here. And that is the profoundness of the soul, not that it's knowable, that it's unknown. Do not fear mysteriousness, because sometimes it's not, the world has no obligation to move in accordance to us. That means, I think maturity is when you realize how small you are in reality, and yet how big reality is, implying how big the small is. When there was the Hadron Collider in CERN, and they had the fear of black holes arising from these particles, bosons like colliding. That black hole would have been the greatest scientific discovery, invention, creation, greatest scientific creation. But to me, I find myself in a world that I can give meaning in so many different ways, and yet what's magnificent is why is the meaning displayed like this? Like it's like I don't know. I've wondered about what's looking through my eyes, what I'm looking at for so long, that it's apparent to me that there's so many ways it can be given meaning, but perhaps from higher angles or higher planes of view, it is a field. It is one field of view. And this world is a commanded universe. But only God knows who truly deserves to command and who deserves to be commanded. Life is not just about the external influence, it's about the quality that you're living it and whether it's low resolution or high resolution. Nihilism is low resolution, materialism is low resolution. You know, seeing this place as an empty room is low resolution. A high resolution life is wondering how reality does not have be has to be confined to the walls of the kingdoms of your understanding. It doesn't need to be confined to the walls of your understanding. It's beyond. It means it's superior. And that's the issue. That's what the hustle culture doesn't understand. It's making people want to feel superior, just like the New Age community. But you don't understand. It's not a win lose game, because in the same way a person cares for the members of their family, if aliens attacked, you would care for the members of the human family. You are part of the human family, the great human odyssey. You are a member of the human species. You have uncommunicatable, unspeakable, all of you. The issue is that you have to figure out what action to do. And in my reality, I was like, what is the quality that can be applied to all qualities? That means that the vision, the idea, the view, the definition, the meaning of the word advancement is the most advanced. I'm not explaining. To me, God is the most advanced state of being. It is not humanizable. That means if I give God human attributes, it doesn't matter. Even if it's revealed that way, written that way, God is beyond conditions. Religion is the discovery of an unconditional, because that unconditional being had enough mercy to share. God is great because this is not a self-defeating reality. It's the advancement of the human species. Please just go, I wish that like you that sentence echoes in your mind, you know, just enough for you to realize it's not. It's the human species, guys. It's always been about what happens to all of us. That is advancement. That means, what is the most advanced responsibility level? Just taking care of yourself? No. What is the more advanced responsibility level? Taking care of others, taking care of your, let's say, family, and then taking care of like your community, and then taking care of your nation, and then realizing nations were just, you know, abstract paint, just like how like primitive people put paint on their face, you know, pretty much humans have acted like the fingers of the planet painting over its own face. But we've taken that painting too seriously. That means it took me a while to learn I gotta take the human state more seriously than the idea. You understand? Because ultimately, we are unknown life force moving the life form in a way that so far we have accepted as known. I am alive once in this form. I understand this fully. I understand that, yeah, it's a bit eerie that all of us have an exit from this realm. I think the point of life is not about the stuff you carry outside of yourself, but more about the visions that guide you within your being. What is the true signal? That means I feel it. I feel behind my imagination in my mind, behind the world, inner realm, I see the divine cognitive field. That is where I was. That is where every kid is before they solidify into a belief that an idea has to be, or they have to be an idea. That means freedom arose from the state of mind. Every concept known to man has been perceived as all right. That's being generated from that dude's brain. You know what I mean? You know. So similarly, we're living in this reality where to truly wonder about the presence of truth is a recognition that a thought was never living here. You have never been your creativity. You have been the full potential of reality. You are not a lord of this reality, for this reality has a lord beyond the conditions of all manifestation. That means is the different. How do I say it? Why Islam has a glow? Because Islam is saying truth is beyond the world, and you anything in the world it is simulated in nature. Why do you think they say honesty is important? Not so that you're honest to others, only for you to understand that if you're not honest with yourself, you never live. That's the honesty. I could find any reason, you know, personal reason not to give these talks, but a part of me is like, you're alive once. And it's like all my past selves. The moment I look at the past is like, look forward, go forward. That's the only thing. That means it's like some people are honoring their ancestors. I don't know, bowing in armor, you know. But there are some people who, the moment they came to honor their ancestors, they're past anything that was considered as a past to them as a being. When I look at the past, they in some sense command me to look forward. My past lived for the future. And what all the past generations are saying is that you were built, you were created to be unique, but you need to fit into a system now to function. And but we have not forgotten the true nature of our species. We are explorers of reality, and we were created at a higher state than we find ourselves now. That means when all souls remember that original moment where the system admin commanded When the system admin, the unconditional being commanded all the condition to exist, commanded your condition, commanded from the movement of even the electrons were listening and followed. You understand the command of the creator is manifestation itself. That means right now, do you see how these words I'm sharing? It's like I'm talking. Do you understand? And to me, manifestation is the command of a system admin that no mind can humanize. We are in the presence of powers beyond us, and you must have honor because I am telling you, for the first time in human history, I don't know, most likely others have. Mother Teresa was one of them. She had snapped out of the human story she was telling herself to keep herself from not caring about what's beyond their own meaning. Me, you don't understand. Mother Teresa in history books was a frail old woman, with a, very kind hearted, frail old woman. But you don't see the presence of that being that was like, I will not let ideas make me dehumanize humans. Because that's what they have done. What you think is the culture you were raised in, is the ideas that are masking the true reality. And so there is one prayer, that means they're like, yo, Mr. Within, what are you going to do after you build an advanced civilization and the most advanced state of human civilization has been achieved? And everybody's in this sort of like, are we in a miracle world right now? It's like we've reached that miracle world, you know? It's like, did we just build paradise on Earth? And I'll be like, no, because an advanced civilization has another like evolution. The evolution of the most advanced civilizations, externalized civilizations, is a divine civilization. That means the most advanced state requires to be the command of the system, meaning that I am alive waiting for the divine command. I am waiting for destiny. I did not create this world. I am happy to be here, just happy to exist in a moment. I see a depth to this world that is magnificent, beautiful, and human royalty is nothing compared to the divinity that everything has arose. The divine cognitive fields is the next great discovery of humanity. And I'm so happy because many of the things I've said in my talks I see happening. And so the system admin perhaps still has a requirement for my existence at this moment because I have freed my moment. The moment I became Muslim, like there's a Muslim where you just are external and linguistic, and then there's a Muslim that your soul found itself in a moment that it was overwhelmed by the presence of a being that cannot make mistakes. I shattered. I legit broke like glass. My ego broke legit. It broke when I realized the higher power is here. And all that I said was, forgive me. I did not know. I did not know God was in the room before any room existed. My Lord, forgive our species. Excuse me, my Lord, forgive my species. Forgive your creation, for it has noticed your greatness. For the true advancement of civilization is not that we got a bunch of, like, genius is not to be shy. The advancement of civilization is when you realize if you truly care for the original moment, for the original life, for the original world, the original earth, all you simulated beings in all these realms of God's manifestation, wherever you are in this whole thing, God truly knows. But I am honored to find myself existing. I am honored to see the, the strength that existence shows by being here. That means people don't see. They see only greatness and heroes and battles and like ancient stories or stories of old. They don't see the greatness of that leaf. They don't see the greatness of everything being. In what might has existence been created? What advancement was ingenious beyond fathoming enough to create you as imperfect. Your weaknesses are hidden lessons. Every moment you have looked down on yourself, there has been an exact opposite correlating depth to it. That means the darker you, that means if people are looking at this world and let's think that it's just dark and bright, like that's the filter, and human beings, their actions, are they making their life darker for their descending their rank as a sense. But I am telling you, because we have to be so advanced, we don't have time for anyone not to be advanced. They're like, don't share pearls in front of swine. I'm like, first of all, they're not swine, and at the same time, we are so behind schedule that even if I share like um, oh my god, if I share as many pearls, countless pearls, it won't be enough. Why? Because there is a deeper nature to it all. The unknown is present where the known is. And so it's okay. Perhaps the moment will speak in new ways. Your eyes open to the day. You understand that the day is a journey. You understand that in a journey means you are moving into uncharted and you're exploring something new. So every day of the human life, you must, in some sense, display an effort greater than yesterday. Each day, if this life was a video game, the map more of the map should be visible. Anyways, folks, I feel like I reached an interesting moment in the lecture, and I feel I need to perhaps do okay. I feel like I need to just chill and share something, but at the same time, all right, whatever. I'll let the moment speak. There is nothing to fear, but it's important how far our awareness goes. I think that the most fascinating thing in my life has been the colossal questions that have been staring at our species from day one. Greatness is about caring. This world is strange. It gives you suffering, but when you care, start caring for things like not in ego specific ideological ways, but like to me in the future you don't understand. In the future generations they're not gonna be like that person, is a loving grandmother. They're gonna be like that person is a master of unconditional love. That person is someone trying has mastered unconditional love. What does that mean? That means they have reached the point where they have liberated a sector of their being. And most people nowadays, they're generating their income out of their liberated sectors. But it's very, that means, like, think of it this way. In front of your eyes, there is a world. Behind your eyes, there is as many worlds as your attention moves. All of you are like, hey man, have you, have you noticed the unknown witness to all everything your mind knows? And I'll be like, yeah, guys, I'm even telling you, it's legit like an ocean. That means what was appearing in my inner realms, what I thought at first was thoughts, the evolution is the conscious inner experience. That means you can see without light entering your eyes when you close your eyes and make light to you that you only see with light in your eyes. Nobody knows how deep this game is. But we know that it has a system at it, and we know that in certain, like to me, Islam is a mission. It is a legitimate quest. Like in a video game, as if like, okay, that is my mission to try to comprehend how to create, shelter the original values on Earth from all the artificial ones. Because I know if they convince, it's all about, it's an all in attention. That means imagine, like this is the power of communication, really. But this world has been designed that humans can um, redirect the attention of other humans. But this is where if you see a human being directing your attention to themselves, then they're a human being that have missed the point because yourself is not a noun, it's a verb, as I said. And guys, I guess I've reached that point where if I gotta give an answer, so if we're wondering about the true seat of attention, so how is our attention right now in the moment station? To me, I have realized I am like this attention, like this camera that is watching everything that's happening to me. And you understand? I can even feel inside my body, just like how I feel outside of my body to some. I think that this is it. I think right now in 2025, our attention is to the idea of ourselves, right? Our body and the idea of us. People are living like that. That's where their attention us is on. So that means their attention is seated in the biological, physical body, and it's seated in their visions of the future of that biological body. So you are actually everybody's future conscious if you care for what tomorrow looks like. You know. So that's how attention is seated in 2025. An idea is owning the whole moment, and the whole moment is identifying as an idea. Simultaneously, that idea is also identified, connected to what? The body, right? So your objective and subjective self are known in the moment. Your subjective self, at the moment you're born, your parents name you and they talk to you until you realize everybody's talking to each other as if your character is listening, right? And that's what human consciousness is. Your character and human story. I am that person saying that maybe Ludwig Wittgenstein had a point when he said the limits of my language are the limits of my world. And so, what are the limits of your world? And you, at what point will you realize that there are self limits, limitations that you've set for yourself, and there's limitations to you that you haven't set to yourself. And sometimes I'll tell you, like like you might not. I realize this later on, like maybe a grand, like a hidden grand purpose of these talks is to let people know, like, yeah, man, life can get intense, but in that intensity, you are choosing your attitude. You're choosing how you look at things. You're choosing whether that Mona Lisa painting, if Mona Lisa is smiling in that painting, you know, you choose values for things, for just in the same way. But I also feel that, how do I say it? We are called forth. Like, how do I explain it to you? It's like the future is called, and anytime I'm sad about the past, I'm getting missed calls from my future. But my future self is functioning as all the probabilities I can see. So in the same way, I can see, like, man, I can go and do this and do that and all these options, even though I don't set the option awareness. And to be honestly, I feel like scared and energetic. Like, I legit feel like I'm in an energy sphere. You know, I legit feel like I'm like at the center of these concentric spheres. Okay, right? And I'm even living on a sphere, guys. Like, one of the books you're gonna see in the future. It's still a rough copy, but I wrote God like spheres. To me, I have challenged myself, but not just me. I think it's more how I've been positioned in this reality, that I was capable of noticing that the objective and subjective self are actually being administered by that awareness. So, to be honest, think of it this way: think of it, there's the candle in a dark room, and that's what waking up is in the day. You're like a candle, and your mind is like this light. Whatever room you go in, you are illuminating that room with meaning. Okay, that means if you go in a room and you like someone and dislike someone, that's how that's it's poetically like that's the light of your mind. Your mind is shining in that. You know, it doesn't even have a positive and signet and neutral colors. Like legit, it's a light. So my presence here is illuminating the meaning of my reality. You understand? I'm not going physically, you know, but sometimes when I get enough sleep, just maybe, they're like, no way, Mr. Within's also an insomniac. What the? It's like, guys, you're choosing to not see the light at night. You know? The sun is still shining. The existence of the sun is in the same moment field of existence as the earth. The existence of man is in the same field of the existence of everything else. You are existing in a field of intelligence. Your true environment is not Earth, it's the edge of conception, It's how far we just go. It's like, yo, like it's breaking news. This was in a past time, but it was like breaking news. Scientists, have realized there's billions and trillions of galaxies, and I'm sorry, many scientists, like breaking news, many scientists fainted upon the realization of like, how fast this place is. It's not like you reach the edge of the planet and it's an invisible force field like this Earth. And so the moment goes forth to an honor and appreciation for the true original power of reality, and to realize that it is okay for the moment to be present in different ways, and kindness is not limited. Kindness can be limitless. Human kindness will be the realization. You are not just the ideal you've had this whole time. You are a member of the human species, physically existing, live streaming existence right now. Your history being live streamed. We're legit thing on the live stream of history. Like in the same way I'm giving this live stream, history is giving a live stream, and it's us. And guys, I don't know if you know this. I don't know. I asked AI, and it said there's 117 billion humans that have ever existed. You're one of those 117 billion humans that have ever existed. You understand? Which is another way of saying, like, every human being that is born is showing us a different way that human intelligence can function. It's a magnificent system if we work together. If we care for each other, not because we care, we understand each other individually, because we understand where we're all collectively. That means they're like, yo, how did some podcast, unite all religions? It's like, guys, is God in a conditional state? They're all like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so God, you know. And you come to the world and you're like, all right, guys, are you all simulated beings? And they're like, yeah, man, we're all simulated. I'm telling you, it's strange. It's like in the middle of a known and unknown world, there's something here that's beyond anything it atoms. And there seems to be an unconditional presence of a life force. So, like, the your, that force that is moving you right now, you are life. Your uniqueness. And people are like, man, how can I get close to God? Well, guess what? You know why Islam, the word Islam means submission, and it's pointing to the submission of the ego of the nafs, and how the nafs can be an enemy. You can be an enemy to yourself without realizing it. Maybe external conditions or internal conditions. You see, like I'm saying, the movement of people, we identify, we assign it to people, but the field is moving before the people move. It's like in the middle of a life of an original being, we're living our simulated lives, and we realize, just like the scientific view is like, they're like, I don't know, they used to say nothing, we came from nothing, we're something, and everything returns to nothing. You can have the same thing. We were everything, we became something or nothing, and then nothing, we return from nothing, something to like everything. I'm saying it's like that pattern is also like an original state. You were a true being. I can't say you were a true being once, but you are a true being. There's a part of you right now that is a true being. That means it doesn't matter how much of a coward you are in front of your eyes. The moment you can find your true self, you have found the self that you can't judge. And when you find that self, you cannot judge. You realize it's not an idea. That this whole time you have been a conscious force of life. It's all force. Everything is force. It's not just force moving things. That's the divine field. Divine. And when I say divine cognitive field, that means there is legit a force moving the neurons in the brain. But this force is not in. How do I explain? It's like if they were like, all right, man, behind ideas on like behind the idea of a tree is an actual physical tree, right? And we're like, okay, what's behind the actual physical tree? And this is very strange, difficult for me to explain, but my realization is that the source code is a command. That means it astonished me. I thought like behind nature was like invisible architecture, but I realized no, the source code is a command. That means I am not giving this talk because I want to. This whole moment, all the conditions, anything that is in a position right now at all that my awareness is even noticing to say anything at all about, it is all instantaneously existing. The instantaneous is where you notice the divine command. That means they're like, do you believe in God? And you're like, I believe there's an original moment. and we're all simulations that I was astonished by. So to me, I was like, man, I can't, like, I couldn't do it, you know? Like, I honestly couldn't do it, right? That they're like, okay, why did you have an interest beyond the human? Simply because everything the human archetype sees other than the human is not human. So it's like in a world that doesn't look human, there's the human shape. In a world that we can't even see the edge of its shape, we are being a shape. And we're wondering, should we live a shaped life or is it an unshaped field of activity? That means which kind of thing is fascinating? That you suddenly look at the whole moment and you're like, wait a minute, this whole moment of awareness that I have been thinking that it's my mind this whole time. My mind is an expression, it's an activity in the presence of all that is being an activity. So therefore, me being an idea and an individual idea of self is eclipsing me from realizing that before I am an idea, I am the awareness to every idea that I have witnessed. But who is that witness? And that witness is the unconditional viewer, which means it's so funny. They said the eyes are the windows of the soul. You go through the eyes, you find the inner realms, and you're like, wait a minute, what's through the windows of the inner realms? And through the windows of the inner realms is a divine field that has been administered through the system admin's command, which is unfathomable to us as entities. In other words, how have you chosen? Like, just I'm telling you this not as a individual. I'm saying this just like, yo, as an intelligent moment of being that has an intention, like as an attention of being, as a moment of being with your attention, right? Like this attention that you're being, like truly wonder about how it is. Like truly wonder about your presence. Because sometimes nobody can teach the eyes that nobody can see. Do you understand? That means I am someone being like, okay, I can't teach anybody anything because I have no idea how they're positioned behind their eyes to themselves. But I can come and share how advanced I've seen my inner realms. And I'm telling you, the most advanced context is an unconditional. So it's pretty much an unconditional cause. We are now being everything manifest. Existence is a conditional effect. It returns to the unconditional cause. And this is why Muslims say, I, death is not the final. Not just Muslims, just religious people. All religious people say death is not the final. God is meeting the systematic. To me, nothing is more fascinating. They're like, okay, you can get to meet the creator of all creation. And you realize how can a conditional being meet an unconditional being? To release its conditions to the unconditional field of true being. God is the original being. Everything else is assimilated. All the mods, the users, everything in manifestation, everything in creation has been created. It means that a command is its design. The system admin of this reality, my father once used this words. He said, an absolute that means its intent is missing existence. It doesn't need to create no there is no matter no delay or time. It's instantaneous. Reality is adjusted. It's more rapid than that being adjusted to the good reality. And unconditional being means a being that cannot be conditioned. You know what that means? That means legit infinity. That might be my next one. If infinity could be. Anyways, folks, thank you for listening. In the name of God, the most benevolent, most advanced. Excuse me. In the name of God, the most benevolent, most merciful, most advanced. I am fascinated. My reverence is through fascination. And that's how I manage the knowledge of all cultural conditioning to some degree. By being fascinated by why is it all here? That means if existence was music, why are you hearing this now? And you follow the songs of existence and you realize for humanity it is the songs of advanced civilization. I'm the early bird. There's gonna come so many poets of people they will pour their hearts out in cyberspace to show that behind their eyes it is not just a selfish looping enslaved soul, or excuse me, inefficient soul, but it is that which was created with a through the original power. That means yes, in the same way you should be honor your parents. Doesn't matter. Forgive them in the way, forgive your create them in ways that they know they might even never understand. In the same way you will understand the system admin is the soul's journey. You are here not to own this world. You're here to realize it. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise due to the Lord of the worlds. May the system admin, may God bless humanity on its most advanced journey. The era of advanced humanity has begun. One human member of the human species and a soul in this field, in the divine field, has noticed the advanced civilization. It's been seen. Pretty much the hardest job was to find that idea that advanced civilization is the greatest argument, it's the greatest view. Nothing else matters for the human idea than to not first access the most advanced power, most advanced state, which is God. And then once you pretty much have been powerless in the presence of the original power, then you live life, you realize it is not your power that moves the moment. That is hilariously the power, the superpower of a kind heart, of all those people who were like, I don't know why I'm still being a good person in this messed up world. All of you have preserved something. And I know because I don't know why, but from my not even my interims, from the in the fields of my heart, I see their glow. Just like how you're on an airplane and you see the lights of the city. I see the glowing hearts of those humans who are like, I still care for this world. This world is still a good place. How dare you, cyberspace? How dare you, crime? How dare you, all the effort that should happen on the earth, convince us that advancement of humanity is, in some sense, unnecessary? You don't understand. I'm trying to give our all our grandchildren ad infinitum something, you know? And I'm like, yo, human species, help me out. Why? Because who do you think the friends of your great grandkids ad infinitum? I know that it's so archetypal. I know it's so conditional existing. But I know the presence of unconditional good. Going towards God is the first greatest action. Second greatest action is once you have realized there is a power administering reality beyond your free will and ideology on it, then you will become humble, not in the presence of man, in the presence of mankind, excuse me, in the presence of the system admin, and because everybody is the creation of the system admin in the presence of man. That means, guys, what this whole time has been good people and bad people has been souls expressing higher realms or lower. Pretty much high resolution and low resolution souls are living in the same reality. High resolution doesn't mean just because you think you're high resolution, you are. In Islam doesn't believe in past lives in the way yogis, Vedanta, and all that does, right? The way, that sort of spiritual view does. Islam, in some sense, how do I explain it? It's this view that before we were in this alam, in this world, in this dunya, alam al dunya, I guess, in this dunya, right? We were in alam al arwa, which translates to the world of souls. And in that world of souls, all souls, there was a ranking system, and all souls had a rank. Okay, and the whole point of us existing on Earth is to, I think personally, but God only knows, is to rank up everybody, the whole system. That's it. I think that's what we are waiting for. Everybody's waiting to rank up. But the rank up is the realization that it is God's world first. I'm like, yeah, this isn't my world. I ain't in this world. You know, sure, like I'm identifying as this is my body, but the idea of me, what is it? It's like deep down, I'm an attention of a life force. I'm a presence of being prior to being an idea found in that presence. But it's just an idea in one moment. So, anyways, I feel I've said enough. And where does attention truly lead us? It leads us to the realization that what we thought was an ego or an idea of self, or what we thought was a body, is actually a node in a field. This whole time you're a node. It means you're legit. Like, how do I explain it? You're a point in the field that many different lines in the field connect. To me, life is about, I think every soul is like this, that they are seeking greatness. Simply said, I don't know how to say it. Greatness in any something. Like it could be a relationship, they want a great relationship. It could be their work, they want to perform in a great way. Do you understand? Everybody wants greatness. But I'm telling you, if you set for your goals the greatness of the species, you achieve all your smaller goals. And that means I'm trying to, like, for me, I'm like, I think I've said the argument very well that, like, I've explained it well that I can't know how advanced I am until how advanced I truly am. Unless you're all advanced and we're advanced, I am speaking to the advanced humanity, which is not the God fearing, but the God conscious. Because you fear God in the world, but the presence of God is not just fear, it is to me, like, how do I say it? It's like meeting your creator. It's such a fascinating thing. It's so beautiful. It's legit, like, one of the most beautiful, like, I've never felt this kind of energy from the thought of like meeting my creator, meeting the creator of love, meeting the original being, the original moment, even the original judgment. Just fascinated by the presence, by the greatness of the systematic, by the might that any humanizable attribute stretched to infinity, and even how as unfathomable that is, God is beyond. God is the unconditional force. That's why reality can, how do I say it, God's will. How do I explain this? Everything in existence praises its creator. In the same way, people care for their parents naturally before how their parents treat them, or it doesn't matter, they care for their parents aren't. It's all about the life in the moment and how advanced and incredible all of this can be. That means there's a more advanced and incredible you right now that is waiting. And that advanced self is not only in the most advanced civilization, it has the most advanced awareness and the most advanced power that all religious people are have treated it like simulated being returning to the origin, seeking the origin. That means what did it mean when somebody like prays, and says sincerely says like God, I praise you, I love you. It's like the reality is accept and access by care. It's the state of your heart. And something that's very brilliant. I think I will tell you any Muslim that was any human that was called towards Islam. You ask them one thing, they will say is that I am at peace because God is right. I am at peace because there is a management behind the scenes of all of this that is, in some sense, so unmistaken that it's as if right now doubting existence has been a waste of time. Doubting myself has been a waste of time. Why have I been doubting this? Well, everybody's staring at dawn. Like, this lecture was a confidence boost. As an awareness, an unknown life force communicating to you in these formats. Thank you for listening in the name of God, the most beloved, the most merciful, the most nice. And I'm going to try this. So, dear viewers, I'm going to leave you with a question. What do you think, like, when you wonder about the true seeds of attention, what does that mean to you? And do you find it that we're individuals sitting in a collective field?